Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a ton of different team situations that we need to talk about. So this will be a very interesting waiver wire video in that we're going to be talking about like entire teams with running back injuries, with wide receivers popping off, and with quarterback change for the New York Jets. But before we get into it, go down there, drop a like on it if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. If you have any questions, feel free to go down there and drop them in that comment section. And if you want to check out any of these player props for Monday night, you can find that link to Underdog Fantasy in the comment section. What's very exciting is this week on Underdog Fantasy, for anybody who's used promo code FLOCK in the past, and I know pretty much all of y'all are already on Underdog and have used promo code FLOCK, or if you sign up for Underdog today with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And this week, you will get a special Patrick Mahomes, a free bet, which I could not be more excited that we are able to get y'all that. So link in the description, link in the comment section, deposit $10, immediately have 20 in your account. Go bet the 20 on Patrick Mahomes to have more than half a passing yard this week. But I think that should be it. Let's go with our first team here, and let's look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm recording this on Sunday night to get this out to you as early as possible. And with Travis Etienne, sounds like the foot injury is not serious. Now, I know that a ton of us here have Travis Etienne on our roster, so I'm praying that this foot injury is not serious. But we do have to at least look at the running back room, look at the situation we would have if Etienne were to miss time, and try to project who would be interesting. And I know a lot of people are going to run out there and go, you got to get JaMycal Hasty. He played 49 snaps out of 63 this week. Snoop Conner only played 10. Snoop Conner was very, very bad. JaMycal Hasty was involved as a pass catcher as well. JaMycal Hasty had 5 receptions, 67 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. But let's not forget, they brought in Darrell Henderson this past week. So if we're going to be honest here, it's going to be difficult to figure out who the starting running back may be. Even if the starting running back's JaMycal Hasty, who knows if JaMycal Hasty's getting 55% of the snaps, Darrell Henderson's getting 45%, and vice versa. So honestly, I think he should be someone that you're rostering just in case we have Travis Etienne getting ruled out sometime here. But I don't want to go, to an extreme measure and saying, oh, you need JaMycal Hasty, knowing that Darrell Henderson could end up being the starting running back, or Travis Etienne may be coming back this week. We will update y'all with this later on. But I wanted to start off with Jacksonville because Zay Jones is someone that we have to look at. And that coming into this week, I said, okay, well, Christian Kirk, I'll throw in the towel. We'll rank him as a high-end wide receiver too. We'll rank him as a must-start guy because he's getting every target here. And the only limiting factor with Christian Kirk is the passing volume in Jacksonville. Well, that's not true. We were so damn wrong in that Trevor Lawrence has 321 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, one of the better games we've seen from Trevor Lawrence in his NFL career. Christian Kirk gets 9 targets, still not productive. You get Zay Jones as an alpha here in Jacksonville. Zay Jones, 14 targets, 11 receptions, 145 receiving yards. So, I don't know what we were thinking, just saying Christian Kirk is going to get everything. You also had a receiving touchdown going in the direction of Marvin Jones Jr., one going to Jamal Agnew. If we're going to be realistic with this projection going forward, I don't want to tell you Zay Jones is a must-add in a 10-team league where you only have one flex spot. I think the upside for Zay Jones to turn into an every-week starter in a format like that, not really going to be there. Zay Jones going to be an addition if you're playing in at least a 12-team league with multiple flexes. If you need that depth wide receiver, you can go through and jam into your wide receiver 2 spot. But going over to Jameson Williams, I want to give an update. We've had Jameson Williams on the past few waiver wire videos. This is about the time you should have been looking to pick him up over the past few weeks. Ian Rappaport saying there's a good chance that he's going to play week 13. Now with Jameson Williams, he is 100% someone that needs to be on your roster. Now, no, there's no way in hell you could start Jameson Williams his first weekend for the Detroit Lions. But this will be a rookie wide receiver that does have upside. Who knows? He was a very good talent at Alabama. A lot of people are saying he was going to be the wide receiver 1 in this year's NFL draft before the injury in the national title game. I will say, don't panic on Amon-Ra St. Brown or anything with Jameson Williams coming in. I think Jameson Williams profiles to be a wide receiver that is going to be a better real-life player than fantasy football option. We know from a real-life perspective, one of the most important wide receiver prototypes is that field stretching option that gives you the elite speed that's going to take safety attention away and that's going to make the defensive coordinator change their scheme. That's Jameson Williams, but he's not going to get a ton of target volume in here. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown still's the locked and loaded alpha wide receiver, but Jameson has enough upside where he does belong on your roster. And another rookie wide receiver we can look at will be Treylon Burks. Back-to-back weeks here where Treylon Burks has gone through and he has dominated the target share for the Tennessee Titans. He has established himself as the wide receiver one for Tennessee. Of course, Derrick Henry is the true alpha in this offense, but with Treylon Burks, he was a very good prospect coming out of Arkansas. First round draft pick. I mean, he declares early. He was dominant with over 40% of his team's receiving yards per game his final season at Arkansas. Obviously, SEC top competition. He has the size to be an alpha. He had the athletic profile to be an alpha. He had the draft capital. There's no target competition. So if we had to pick between these two rookie wide receivers, I would honestly go with Treylon Burks. I would go with the wide receiver we've seen it from for 2 straight weeks now. I think that maybe Jameson could be a better real-life NFL wide receiver given the speed and how he's going to stretch NFL defenses, while I think Treylon Burks can be a better fantasy football option given the alpha profile and how he can command that target share. Now, going over to the New York Jets, there's a lot to talk about because Mike White comes in. Mike White turns this offense completely around. And on top of this, we have a running back injury. So there are so many moving pieces. Let's start it off with Mike White himself, who had, 315 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. If you wanted to go through and stream Mike White, hell, I'm sure we played worse quarterbacks this season than Mike White. I think if you wanted to go through and pick him up, I'll be fine with it. White, in my opinion, is going to be a player that's more appealing in his 6-point passing touchdown league, knowing that, hell, he has no rushing upside whatsoever. Usually in that 6-point passing touchdown format, you prefer the quarterback that you think you can get there just off the passing volume, off his passing efficiency, whereas in a 4-point passing touchdown league, that's where we're going to be going a little bit more with the guy that has the rushing upside. So with Mike White, you'd be looking at least a 12-team format where it's a 6-point passing touchdown league, but hell, he's been pretty damn good. If we look at what you've had from Mike White compared to Zach Wilson, Mike White, 28 pass attempts, 3 touchdowns. Zach Wilson, 189 pass attempts, 4 touchdowns. I don't know. I think you have to go through. I think you have to take Mike White over Zach Wilson at this point. I think we have to assume that he is an upgrade. And if he is that upgrade, I know the first thing people are going to say, everybody's going to be down there going, oh, let's have an Elijah Moore party. Elijah Moore is back, baby. I didn't waste my 6th-round pick on Elijah Moore. No, don't get it twisted. You still wasted your 6th-round pick on Elijah Moore. Don't think this is someone that you can get excited about picking up off the waiver wire. I know he's a great stat line at the end of the day with 2 receptions, 64 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. He had 2 targets in this offense. Elijah Moore had 2 targets. The man played 22 snaps and ran 13 routes. Elijah Moore ran 13 routes. So it's not like Zach Wilson got benched and then they went, okay, now that Zach Wilson's benched, he was the one who decided to bench Elijah Moore. Let's activate Elijah Moore. Now he's not only going to be playing in 3 wide receiver sets, he's an every down player. Nope, that's not what happened. This coaching staff is who decided to bench Elijah Moore, not Zach Wilson. Don't think Zach Wilson was the reason Elijah Moore is failing. Don't pick up Elijah Moore. Do not start Elijah Moore. But I do want to look into the running backs here. And obviously, by the way, Garrett Wilson, rocket ship to the freaking moon. If somehow, some way, Garrett Wilson's on your waiver wire, you're picking him up. He's the alpha wide receiver 1. Now, of course, I can't throw him on the waiver wire video per se because he is rostered in more than 50% of leagues. But some running backs here are. Now, I am very interested to know what y'all have to say because obviously Michael Carter going down with the ankle injury. This is going to be a situation we need to monitor. And Zonovan Knight, someone that I had never heard of before, ends up taking over in this backfield. Obviously, the reason for this is James Robinson is a healthy scratch before the game. Zonovan Knight comes through, as a respectable performance, 14 carries, 69 rushing yards. He gets 3 receptions, 34 receiving yards out of the backfield as well. So if we were to be in a situation where we knew James Robinson was done here, James Robinson was not playing next week, neither was Michael Carter, Knight would be a very intriguing pickup. But I don't know. Do they just go activate James Robinson and go, okay, yeah, we need someone that we've seen be a bell cow running back in the NFL. We need someone that can handle a workload. We need James Robinson in here. Does that happen? Let me know what you think in the live chat. Let me know if you think Knight's the guy we got to be going with or James Robinson. Obviously, Knight going to be available in significantly more leagues. But someone that I need to take an L on because I told you not to add him about a month ago. You know, about a month ago, everybody was saying, add Kyren Williams. Add Kyren Williams. Go get Kyren Williams. And we were saying, nope, he's a small, slow running back in a piss-poor offense coming off ankle sprain with no NFL draft capital. I'll pass. Well, now I'm going to go jump on the bandwagon. We're going to say to add Kyren Williams because since we had Darrell Henderson getting cut from the Los Angeles Rams, now the depth is no longer here. This goes from being a 3-man backfield with Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, and Kyren Williams to a 2-man backfield where Kyren Williams is the leading back. Now, of course, they trail the entire game here, so it's the best game environment for Kyren Williams, the passing down option, but this Rams offense is horrendous. This Rams team is horrendous. The spread on this game was 15.5. We can assume that the Rams are going to be trailing the majority of their games the rest of the way. They have no Kupp. They have no Stafford. They have nobody here. So I think Kyren Williams is the lead running back in Los Angeles at this point. I think that if we are going to be looking at Kyren Williams, this is a running back, to be fair, that can catch the ball to the backfield. Now, like I said, he's not a great athlete. 11 carries, 35 rushing yards. With Kyren Williams, he has 3 receptions, 25 receiving yards. So if you're playing in a deep format where you need a high-end RB3 and it's a full PPR league, then you can go through and you can pick up Kyren Williams. I do think that you have a limited ceiling just because how bad this offense is, though. But going over for the Buffalo Bills, let's look at a wide receiver that's been on the waiver wire videos for us the past few weeks, Isaiah McKenzie. And the reason for this is if you look at PFF's graph of their snaps, you just get, that linear line up for Isaiah McKenzie playing more and more and more snaps in this Buffalo Bills offense every week. Obviously, Buffalo is a phenomenal offense to go along with this. You look at the past week on Thanksgiving, Isaiah McKenzie was out there leading the Buffalo Bills in receiving. Isaiah McKenzie was that full-blown starting slot wide receiver, seeing a ridiculous amount of targets. Obviously, Gabe Davis, the field stretching option. You have Stephon Diggs, the prototypical alpha X wide receiver. Now, I will say Isaiah McKenzie not appealing in a non-PPR format. He doesn't have big playability. You want Isaiah McKenzie in that full PPR league, and it has to be a deeper format as well. But going over to our next guy, we're going to be looking at Odell Beckham Jr. Now, with Odell, this is about the time to start picking him up. If we are looking at Odell Beckham Jr., we got the report saying he's not going to be back in until late December. So for this reason, we've never been saying, oh yeah, trade for Odell Beckham Jr. We weren't saying 3 months ago that you should be rostering Odell. Back in week 3, back in week 4, every time someone showed us their roster and they had Odell on it, we said, try to trade Odell or cut Odell. We're not rostering him for the next 10 weeks for no reason. Well, now you're in a spot where Odell Beckham Jr. may be coming in 3 weeks. We may have some additional information on where he's signing. We have the plane incident earlier Sunday morning. God knows what that's about. I don't think it's going to impact him from a fantasy football standpoint in any regard this year. So I think it's about the time he's worth a spot on that roster. Now, going over to our tight end, we are going to have Foster Moreau, who here had played every single snap for the Raiders. He's been seeing a considerable amount of snaps this past week. It was a great matchup against the Seattle Seahawks where Josh Jacobs, our guy, has 300 total yards. We're going to bring that up in every video this week. I'll find a way to sneak it in. But anyway, with Moreau, he has 7 targets, 3 receptions, 33 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. It's more so about having both no Darren Waller as well as no Hunter Renfrow, and you're someone playing every single snap. Who the hell knows that tight end at this point? We looked at Jawan Johnson as a tight end that scored 5 touchdowns in 5 weeks and said, okay, maybe we can buy into this player now. I didn't want to buy in before, but if you score 5 touchdowns in 5 weeks, sure. And then we throw him on the waiver wire video last week, and he has 0 points this week. So I will at least admit I have no freaking idea what we're doing with these borderline tight ends. If you want to go look at Trey no. I don't know. I think Foster Moreau is going to be a fine option. And just a quick PSA, I want to remind everybody, running backs that have an elite ceiling that may not necessarily be producing right now, but are an injury away from becoming league-winning players, do not drop these guys off your roster heading into the fantasy football playoffs. If you're about to go into the fantasy football playoffs, we need the highest ceiling possible. And I repeat, highest ceiling possible. So why are we getting rid of guys like A.J. Dillon, Alexander Madison, Kareem Hunt, these running backs that have small roles in their offenses right now? But if the running back one in their respective offense were to go down, then they turn into 3-down bell cows that are truly winners. Please, if you see one of these players on this waiver wire, if you see one of those prototypes out there, pick them up and make sure you're not cutting them. Now, I think that's all we got for you. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. Any questions, feel free to drop them down there in the comment section, and go take advantage of our offer on Underdog Fantasy if you've not done so already. If you're on Underdog and you signed up with promo code FLOCK already, you are going to get this Patrick Mahomes special bet later this week. And if you go and sign up for Underdog Fantasy, promo code FLOCK right now, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You will also get the free Patrick Mahomes bet. Super excited that we're able to get this to you. Available in damn near every state. Link in the comment section, link in the description. But thank you again. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be good to see you in the live stream tonight.